İyi misiniz?
İyiyiz hocam, siz nasılsınız?
Net olarak alıyorsunuzdur diye tahmin ediyorum.
Evet.
Harika. Hmm, Evet. Şimdi birazcık bekleyelim arkadaşlarınız gelsin. Sonra devam edelim. Bir iki dakika daha bekleyelim. Nasılsınız arkadaşlar? Her
Sağ olun
şey
hocam, iyi. Siz nasılsınız?
teşekkür ederim. Şimdi bakalım açalım. Nerede kalmıştık biz? Son derste hatırlayamıyorum.
Açık konuşmak gerekirse en son birkaç grafik işliyorduk. Çok genel bir tanım oldu ama.
Evet, çok genel oldu. Bir dakika, 2 dakika bekleyin arkadaşlar. Ben hemen anlayacağım şimdi.
Hocam söyleyebilir misin?
Hmm, evet buldum. Bir saniye. Evet. Evet, şimdi bugün ne işleyeceğiz arkadaşlar? 4. ünite işleyeceğiz. Hemen share yapıyorum. Görüyor musunuz?
Evet.
Süper. Evet. Evet arkadaşlar. Biz şu ana kadar ne gördük? Consumer demand, consumer surplus, producer surplus. Onları gördük. Şimdi otomatikman neye başlayacağız? Bireysel olarak incelemelere başlayacağız. Yani individual olarak bizim nasıl bir şekilde incelediğimizi, nasıl bizim bireysel olarak talep eğrisini çıkardığımızı göreceğiz. Okey, şimdi başlıyorum. Herhangi bir sorunuz var mı? Yok. Until now we have done all consumer surplus, producer surplus, and we look at how we will gonna deal with calculating consumer surplus and producer surplus regarding the the willingness to pay and willingness to sell. So today we will start to look at individual demand. If price changes, if income changes, okay, how it will gonna affect the individual demand. First of all, here as you see, we are at this point. We are here, okay? This is clothing and this is food. So if you would like to, here it says there are 3 prices. At A, the price is 2, later price decreases to 1, and later price decreases to 0.5, okay? So now we don't know here income, and we also do not know anything about the price of other goods, price of clothing. Therefore, we only know the price of food is decreasing, okay? So if these are substitute goods to each other, if the price of one good decreases, the price of the quantity of other goods increases because of being substitute, okay? Now, the price is 2 here, and we know that if the price is 2, here is 6, here is 4. we are consuming 6 clothing and 4 food if the price of food is 2, and we don't know anything about the price of the clothing. And later, the price of food decreases to 1. It is given in the question. Therefore, now, without any change in clothing, the consumption of food increases. Increase in food consumption, as you see, we're gonna shift, indeed, we're gonna rotate the budget constraint to the right, nothing change in clothing, only change in food here, more food consumption. And then later, the price of food decreases to 1.50. That means food consumption increases more, nothing changes in clothing again, as well as nothing change in income. Only the price of food decreases. So, the first of all, where indifference curve is tangent to the budget line here, and then later it increases to here, and then later because the decrease in the price, we're gonna make consumers consume more, so it increases here. As a result, this line where we just drew the line regarding the points that the budget, the indifference curve intersects budget line gives us the price consumption curve. Here it is. These are. And now, if you would like to draw the indifference curve, how we will draw the budget surplus, how a budget demand curve, we will draw the demand curve like, first of all, here is 2, the price is 2, we are consuming 4. If the price decreases to 1, we are consuming 12. If the price decreases to 0.50, and now we are consuming 20. So this is the individual demand curve, okay, for food consumption. Is that clear? Is that clear, guys? Are you with me?
Yes.
So, the price consumption curve, individual demand curve. Price consumption curve means curve tracing the utility maximizing combination of two goods as the price of one charges. Individual demand curve relating the quantity of a good that a single consumer will buy to its price. So the individual demand curve has 2 important properties. The level of utility that can be attained changes as we move along the curve, and at every point on the demand curve, the consumer is maximizing utility by satisfying the condition of the marginal rate of substitution, which we know it is equals to PK over PC indeed, P food over P clothing. So food or clothing equals to the ratio of the price of food over price of clothing. So what about the effect of income changes? How it affects the situation? We know that we have seen the price consumption curve, and we know we're gonna see the income consumption curve right now. At point A, as you see, it is 10, the income. Point B, it is 20. Point D, it is 30. So as you see, income is increasing. Increase in income, we're gonna make it increase in both goods if they are normal goods. Okay, so we understand from here that they are normal goods. So both quantity of clothing and quantity of food increases. Therefore, if you want to draw the line, we just plot the numbers where utility just intersects the budget line at each point, at each increase in the increase in income. So we just draw a line from points A, B, D, which gives us the income consumption curve. As you see, there's no change in the price because it is not as mentioned in the question. It says there's only an increase in income. Therefore, increase in income, we're going to make an increase in the demand curve for food. if you just look for food. If you look for clothing, it is the same. It just increases. Okay, there's nothing changed for the consumption of food and clothing. So this is how income changes. And if you want to draw the inferior good, as I told you, these are all normal goods. If you would like to draw a graph that just shows us how it is changing depending on the inferior good, now we will gonna look at here. A, B, and C. As you see, if income increases, first of all, hamburger and steak increases, but later hamburger becomes inferior because as more income we have, we will gonna consume more steak, which means hamburger is inferior good from now on with an increase in income. So now a decrease in hamburger consumption, which comes from 10 to 8 maybe or 9, but as you see, increase in steak consumption. Okay, from here to here. That is that shows us how inferior good is changing depending on income consumption, income increase. The angel curves are here up to now. First of all, we are here. And we are here, A and B. Okay, we have two. If food is normal good, angel curve is always upward sloping. Okay, angel curve is upward sloping here. As you see, if you see angel curve like this, we understand that the good is normal good. Okay, but if the angel curve is like this, okay, if it shows an increasing trend, later it shows a decreasing trend. Okay, it became concave. So we understand that it is becoming an inferior good. Up to now, it is increasing. That means up to this point where it is 10, we say that it is normal good. But later, if it decreases, if the consumption decreases, that means it is inferior good. Okay, how we understand from the graphs that whether the good is normal good or inferior good. And so this is an example that you can read at home and just like this. And substitute and complements. Two goods are substitutes if an increase in the price of one leads to an increase in the quantity of one another. Two goods are complements if a change in the price will make no effect in the price of other one. Can you please give me example for that? For substitute and complement goods?
Can you ask again, please?
Can you please give me example for substitute and complement goods?
For example, for substitutes, salt and sugar. Complements, maybe DVD and DVD player.
DVD and DVD player is okay, but salt and sugar is not substitutes. You cannot use salt instead of sugar because they are different from each other. But you can give example like jam and honey. Okay, you can choose one instead of other because if the price of one increases, you will consume other one. Like butter and margarine.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Tablet or phone, if you watch something from screen.
Tablet or?
Tablet and phone or laptop, doesn't matter.
It can be, yes. Any other? Any other?
Pencil and notebook, maybe.
Pencil and notebook is complements, right? Any other?
Tea and coffee.
Tea and coffee is for what?
Substitute. Good.
Yes.
Sugar beet and sugar complements.
Yes, any other?
Burger and pizza
Yes,
substitutes.
any other?
In complements, cereal and milk.
Evet. Yes, any other?
Car and motorbike, maybe.
Car and motorbike is for what?
For driving so long. For go.
For what? Cause substitute or complements? I know that you drive for both, but which one?
Hmm. I don't have any example from that.
I'm not asking you an example. I ask you whether they are substitutes or they are complements. The example that you give are substitutes or complements. Which one? No. Diyorum ki bunlar birbirine ikame mi tamamlayıcı mı söylediğin örnekler? Ben senden başka bir örnek istemiyorum. Söylediğin örnek tamamlayıcı mı ikame mi onu soruyorum.
Bence tamamlayıcı. Ya pardon, ikame. Yani biri olmazsa biri.
Karar ver. Bir olmazsa biri diye bir şey yok. Sınavda bir olmazsa biri diye yazmayacaksın sorunun cevabı olarak. Ben ona göre seçmeyeceğim. Her sorunun bir doğru cevabı var. Öyle değil mi?
İkamedir herhalde.
Örneğini bir daha alabilir miyiz? Arkadaşlarla paylaşalım. Bir daha alalım.
Bir yere gitmek için motor, siklet veya araba.
Nedir bunlar?
Birbirine zıt, birbirine
Evet,
şey.
demek ki substitutory değil mi?
Evet.
Yani ikisi de aynı yer birinin yerine birini kullanabilirim. Tabii ki burada bir hani korkum yoksa, motora binme korkum yoksa, fobim yoksa gibi bir sürü etmenler kıyaslanabilir ama biz onların her şeyini göz ardı ederek diyoruz ki bunlar birbirine ikamedir. Evet, doğru. Başka var mı örnek? Arkadaşlar milyon tane örnek çıkarabilirsiniz.
I can give an example.
Yes, please. But I couldn't hear your voice clearly.
Corn and chips is subtitles.
I cannot hear you. Can you please repeat again?
Corn and chips.
Corn and yes, okay. Any other? Think bigger. Yes.
Substitutes, chicken and meats. Complements, pencil and pencil case.
Yes. Good. A good example. Any other?
Gasoline and electricity for cars.
Perfect. Gasoline or hybrid cars?
Pepsi and cola, substitute.
Yes, perfect. So you can provide many examples. Now, a fall in the price of good has two effects. Now we will come to that point. Substitute and income effect. Consumers will tend to buy more of the good that has become cheaper and less of the good that becomes relatively more expensive. So it is called as substitute effect. And if the good is now cheaper and consumer enjoys an increase in real purchasing power, the change in demand resulting from this change in real purchasing power is called the income effect. Have you ever heard anything about this income effect and the substitution effect, guys? Anything? Do you have any idea? Does it make any sense to you, like talking about perfect substitutes and the perfect complements? Like, does it make any sense about any sense about like having seen the change in price level and the change in income? Do you have any idea?
Can I say something, teacher?
Yes, please.
A family with higher income may demand more goods.
Yes. So?
That's all.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Now we can talk about like substitution and income effects. Substitution effect is something like price level. That's what we have seen in this. Okay. Consumption is depending on the price changes. So if there's a change in the price level, how the consumption is changing is giving us the substitution effect. If there's a change if there's a change in consumption because of the change in income, like the purchasing power increases, then we can talk about income effects. Is that okay, guys? Now we will kind of come through this. Total effect is a sum of substitution effect and income effect. Okay. This is what we know. Substitution and income effect is giving us the total effect. This total effect is changing, by the way. It is changing because maybe it is changing because of being like inferior and being normal goods. Okay. Suppose now here it is. First of all, we are here, okay, R and S. Okay, this is the budget line. Now we are consuming at these amounts. Okay, the budget line tangent to D, okay, here A, C1 and F1. Later, the price of food decreases, all right? Decrease in food, we're gonna make an increase in food consumption, okay? Now, there's no change in income. There's no change in the price of consumption goods. There's no change in the clothing. There's no change in the price of food. Sorry, there's no change in the quantity of price of the food, but the food consumption increases. People now decides to consume more foods, okay? Because of this decrease in the price of food, now you are coming to this point. Point D. No change in the budget constraint, okay? There is no rotation like we have seen before. It is on the same indifference curve. It is on the same utility function. So instead of being A, we are now at point D. This is the substitution effect, okay? Just you can think about on the same indifference curve as we have seen last week. We said that in indifference curves, there is transitivity and more is better than less. Do you remember? And they are completeness. So there is transitivity here. D is preferred to A on the same indifference curve. So later, okay, income increases after we come to point D. Now, if we just draw a parallel line, okay, to this, to the D, because D is the new point to show the substitution effect. And now income increases, which makes, okay, it shift upwards, okay, Indeed, it makes a rotation, but if you draw this line, this is the hidden line that no one sees here. Indeed, it is not included in the question as well. So this is the new income. The increase in the income will make an increase both in consumption of clothing and the food. Now, from here to here is the income effect. As you see, both substitution effect and income effect are on the same direction, which shows us that it is normal goods. Any question? Any questions, guys?
Can I ask something?
Yes, please.
If the increase or decrease in clothing does not change the substitute, is it a normal good?
Can you please repeat again? I don't understand.
If the increase or decrease in clothing, yes, does not change the substitute, is it a normal good?
It is changing indeed here.
Yes.
It's changing. If it doesn't change, that means it doesn't make any sense. It is changing because you are consuming less clothing here if the food increases. The consumption of food increases.
Okay.
Do you understand the logic?
Yes, thank you.
Any other? Do you have any other questions? So if it is inferior, now if the good is inferior, as you see, indeed the substitution effect is the same here. From point A to point D, the food price decreases. Therefore, the consumption of food increases because the price of food decreases. We come to point A to point D. Okay? It is where we are now with a decrease in the price of food. But later income increases. But because food is inferior, okay, the food is inferior, now we are gonna consume less food with an increase in income, okay? Now it comes to point B. Because we move from point A to point D because of the decrease in the food, the price of food, we increase consumption. But later, as you see, income increases. Increase in income will gonna make less consumption of food because of being inferior goods. Okay? Therefore, the new point will be D. The substitution effect is from point A to point D. Okay? And the income effect is from point D to point B. Therefore, the total effect will be less than what we have in normal goods. Is it clear?
Yes.
Perfect. And a given good is a very, very extreme case, okay? It is a good whose demand curve slopes upward because the income effect is larger than the substitution effect. Here, from A to D is the same. The decrease in price of food will gonna increase the consumption of food. Okay, that is the same. And later, food is inferior goods, and income is large enough to dominate the substitution effect here. That means you will not consume this good, good that the food anymore. Okay, you will consume more clothing with an increase in income. Therefore, you move from point D to point B. As you see, the substitution effect is from A to D. The income effect is from D to B. Therefore, the total effect is negative. Is it clear?
Yes.
Perfect. This is an example. You can read it. And now, from individual to market demand. From individual to market demand. You know it, I have showed it to you before. Individual demands are A, B, and C, and the price level. If you look at the individual demands, how you calculate the market demand? By adding them, the quantities together, right? 6, 10, and 16 is the market demand. It is all, if you would like to calculate the market demand, you add them all together. Is that clear? Is that clear? Do you remember this? Because there is no any voice, I assume you all understand, right? Are you there? Are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So you can look at this market demand. It is, as I told you, the market demand. Previously, I showed it to you here. Individual A, individual B, and individual C. These are separately, if shown. And if we add them all together, you get the market demand. And in market demand, 2 points should be noted. The market demand curve will shift to the right as more consumers enter the market. And the factors that influence the demand, as many consumers will also affect the market demand curve. And elasticity of demand. Denoting the quantity of a good by quantity and its price by price, okay? The price elasticity of demand is changing quantity over quantity over changing price over price. So price over quantity equals to change multiplied with change in quantity over change in price. This is what we have seen before in elasticities. Do you remember?
Yes.
So, what we say in elastic demand, do you remember?
There was an equation supply
Yes.
and between of supply and demand
Mm-hmm.
with delta.
Mm-hmm. So, if you are talking about if demand is inelastic, what is the sign or how we define it? Do you remember? Do you remember? If it is inelastic, that means it is between 0 and 1, okay? And we say we take the absolute value every time. And the total expenditure increases as the price increases. And if the demand is inelastic, the total expenditure of the product decreases as the price goes up. Okay, now let's come to what we are talking about. The isoelastic demand curve. This is the demand curve with a constant price elasticity. And unit elastic demand curve, you remember that it equals to 1. Okay? And it is here, because it's a downward sloping, it is -1 at every price level. And this is a table that will be a practical way to remember. If the price increases, what happens to expenditure regarding to demand? If price decreases, what happens to expenditure regarding to demand curve? You can easily remember by using this figure to understand the situation. Okay? And this is domestic demand for wheat. It is given, and the export demand is also given to you. Can you be able to find the market demand for wheat? Yes. How you can find it? You just add them all together, the export demand and the market demand together, and you find the market demand. Is that clear?
I can't understand, teacher. Can you repeat, please?
Şimdi arkadaşlar burada bize neyi vermiş? Yerel talep ve bu ihraç talebini, yani ithal ve yani yerel olarak yapılan talebi ve export demand'i vermiş. Ve demiş ki bunların fiyatları, yani aslında bunların miktarları, talep miktarları bunlardır. Quantity demand for domestic demand and quantity export demand quantity equation'larını bize vermiş, ikisini. Biz individual demand'de ne bulmuştuk arkadaşlar? Individual demand'leri toplayıp neyi bulmuştuk? Market demand'i bulmuştuk, öyle değil mi? Burada da aynısını yapıyoruz. Piyasa talebini bulmak için domestic and export demand'i toplayıp piyasa talebini buluyoruz. Tamam mı?
Tamam hocam,
Tamam
teşekkürler.
Bu bir örnek, atlıyorum. Bunu da atlıyorum. Gasoline prices. Gelelim consumer surplus. Consumer surplus. The difference between a consumer is willing to pay of a good and the amount actually paid. Burada görmüş olduğunuz arkadaşlar 20 en yukarıda, the 20 is the maximum amount that the consumer is willing to pay. 14 is the amount that the consumer is paying currently. Okay? Consumer is willing to pay 20 at max and now paying 14 to concert tickets and can be able to buy 6 concert tickets with the price of 14. And if you want to calculate the consumer surplus is the triangle, the area of the triangle, 20 minus 14 multiplied with 6, suppose, or 6.5 over 2 is the area of the triangle is giving you the consumer surplus. And the actual expenditure that the consumer is doing, 14 multiplied with 6.5, which is the area of the square. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, it's very easy indeed. And volume cleaner, I'm just keeping out this. The network externalities, I'm just keeping out this, you don't have to know this. But this one is important. Empirical estimation of demand. The price elasticity of demand, you know, it is a quantity equals to A minus BP. You know this. And if it is given you in logarithmic form, this is the equation. Now, you see, we have price, the price of the goods and the income. Suppose now there are two prices, price and the price of other goods. Okay, and the income is provided to you. So the first one, A minus BP, B log P, is showing you that if the price increases, the quantity is decreasing, right? Is that correct? So, in the second one, if the price of 2 increases, the quantity is increasing. So we understand that it is showing us the cross price elasticity. And in cross price elasticity here is positive. The two goods are substitutes. And here, as you see, B2, the sign is positive. Therefore, they are substitute goods. And also, increase in income, we're going to increase the quantity. So we understand from here that it is normal goods. Is it clear, guys? So it's an example, the demand for ready-to-eat cereals. As you see, the price of Grape nuts. If it increases, the quantity demand decreases. If income increases, they will demand more cereal. And if the shredded wheat price increases, there will be more demand for grape nuts because they are substitutes to each other. The signs are showing us how it is related to this topic. And the empirical estimation of demand, I'm just keeping out this, the utility maximization, Lagrangian, I'm not gonna show this Lagrangian as well. Okay, these ones, you don't have to learn the proofs. I'm skipping. Income and substitution effect, these are the proofs or Slutsky's. I'm not showing you these ones. Do you have any questions? Guys?